All right, we're going to go over everything that's going to help you with the links for the sub day. Make sure your behavior is on point. If you're on the subs naughty list, you know that's not going to work out well for you. I'll probably just keep you out of the field trip. We'll call home. Um, I'll walk you to lunch attention for like a week straight. So just, act right. You guys know what to do. Uh, Here is an angle. One of your links, you'll be asked to name the angle. So when we're naming angles, this isn't like what kind of an angle it is, like, oh, it's a right angle or an obtuse angle. This is the name of the actual angle. So the angle happens at point B. That's where the lines meet, and that's where the angle happens. So one way to name this is angle. That's the sign for angle. You have to click it every time you're naming an angle on the link. Angle capital B. If these letters are capital, your answers has to be capital or it won't mark it as correct. Another way to name this angle is if I draw it, I would go A to B to C. So angle A, B, C will also work. And the last way that will work is if I start here, I can go from C to B to A and make that same angle. So we can name it C, B, A. And again, with all capitals, that will work. Moving on to other things on the second link, that's going to be the tougher one. We've already covered a bit of it, but let's help you out so you don't miss many and you don't have to do too many extra problems. The first questions, we'll start with a right angle. They'll say you have a right triangle, so you should draw the right triangle. It'll give you one other angle. It'll say another angle is 40 degrees. What is the measurement of the missing angle? We know that every triangle has 180 degrees. So what we do is see how many of those 180 degrees we've already used up. 90 plus 40. If you need a calculator, use it. We've used up 130 degrees so far. So let's see how many we still have left. We're going to subtract to see how many we still have left. And that'll tell us how many degrees the final angle is. So start with 180. Add up how many degrees you've already used up. We know that's 90. Add them up and then see how many you have left. That's kind of the easier one. The harder ones are when it talks about isosceles triangles. When you get to the questions that talk about isosceles triangles, you're going to want to draw two triangles most of the time. If you don't do this, you're going to miss some. Trying to do it in your head, you're going to miss some, and you're going to be sitting there having to work till 90. That was our agreement. If I see that you missed some because you didn't do the work, you have to go to 90. If I see that you're getting them all right, or the sub sees that you haven't missed any, or when I come back and check, if I see that you didn't miss any, all you have to do is get to 55. Okay? If I see that you missed some, I'm going to make sure that you go all the way to 90 when we get back. So try to do them right and save yourself some time. So it'll say, hey, there's an isosceles triangle. That means the sides are the same, two of them. And that means these angles have to also be the same. That's what happens when two sides are the same. The angles are the same. It'll say you have an isosceles triangle. One of the angles is, and then it'll give you some degrees. Sometimes, because of how big the degree is, you'll know where it goes because they don't tell you where it goes. But I know that this 100-degree angle can't go here because these are the same. If this is 100, then that's 100. And we're already at 200. And a triangle can only have 180, so that doesn't even make sense. So sometimes if it's a big number, you know that it has to go up here. That has to be the 100, and then we have to figure out what those are. So let's see. We're going to start with the 180 again. Draw your isosceles triangle. If it's a big number that doesn't make sense to put here, then put it up here and then go, all right, I have 180 degrees to use. I've already used up 100. How many do I have left? Okay. Once you figure that out, you know you have to split this many degrees with two of them. So I just do that. What do I have left? 40 degrees on each. Hopefully that makes sense. Start with how many degrees there are, subtract what they tell you, and then however many you have, if it has to go up here, then these two have to be the same. So however many degrees you have left, divided by 2, and that'll tell you how much this is. You can double check, 100, 140, 180. Yep, that's kind of the middle hard one. The hardest ones is when they give you kind of a small number. They'll say, hey, you have an isosceles triangle, and one of your angles is 30 degrees. Like, oh man, it could be this one. It could be that one. It could be, we don't know, because if it's here, that's okay. That'd be 30, 60. So it can be any of them. That's when you need to draw two triangles so that you don't miss a bunch. On this first triangle, let's go ahead and stick the degrees up here. And go, all right, if this is at 30 degrees, then what's the rest of them? All right, let's start again with 180. Subtract what we've already used up. That means we still have 150 more degrees to split with these two angles. So how much is each one going to be? Well, I got to divide that by 2, and that would be 75. So I found out my degrees. You're not done though, because on the link it's going to say, hey, click on all the possible angle numbers. You're going to have to, if one of them is 30, you're going to have to click on 75, but you're going to have to keep going. You're not done, because remember, there was no guarantee that this was the 30-degree angle. Maybe the 30-degree angle is down here. So you're going to have to do a second triangle and go, well, what if this is the 30? Then that means this has to be the 30 also, because these are exactly the same. And if we have these two right here being 30, then let's see, we start with 180. So far, we've used up 60. How much do I have left? 120. That means this one has to be 120 degrees. So when you are asked to click on all the possible answers, you're going to click 75, 30, 120, all of those. If you had stopped here and only clicked on these two answers, it would mark it as wrong, because a triangle with a 30-degree angle can also look like this and have that. So you have to do both of them when the number they give you on an isosceles triangle is small. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, hopefully the sub can help you, or you can watch this again and get some help with your partner. But remember, if you get them all right, because you slow down and just do a couple at a time, even if you don't finish tomorrow, but you did 3 of them or 4 of them, but they're all right, you're good to go. You're only going to have to go to 55. Otherwise, we're going to go to 90 if we're just trying to do it in our head and going back and forth. All right. Good luck.